Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near-death experience of Amy, and this experience occurred on May 8th of 2016 and was documented on April the 6th of 2017. Open quote. I remember being in a vanilla, pink-colored, and misty tunnel. I could hear the prayers of people. Some of the people I knew, like my youngest son. Many people I didn't know. But these prayers, I could hear them individually and as a whole at the same time. They were also displayed like a silver audio play button on a sound file as I passed through this tunnel. I could reach out and touch these files and hear them. It was an overwhelming feeling of love and caring. After passing through this tunnel, I entered a wooden paneled waiting room with a small square window in it. The window was 2 feet square and had an indescribably bright white light shining through it. In this waiting room with me were 3 bright light spirits that resembled starlight. They were the brightest of starlight that you could imagine. I knew I was not staying there and that I was being returned. The 3 spirits were keeping me company until I was returned. I kept looking at the bright light shining through the window and at the 3 spirits with me. I remember feeling so calm and wanting to go with the spirits into the light shining through the window. I woke up a few minutes later in an icy hospital bed. About 12 hours had passed. I had a tube in my throat and my hands had large bandages on them. I tugged on the tube in my mouth, unsure of what it was. I started to use sign language, but with my hands in these bandages, no one could have seen my hands wildly gesturing. I was alone in the room at the time. A nurse finally came in and asked if I knew where I was. Unable to answer because of the tube in my throat and hands covered, the look on my face must have told her I had no idea of where I was. She explained I was in the hospital and that a helicopter had brought me in the night before. She said she would remove the tube and let my family know I was awake. She told me that they could explain where I was and what had happened. End quote. Wow. That's pretty amazing, Amy. I've never heard the prayers being described that way and being able to touch them and feel them all. That's awesome. And being in a wood-paneled room, I haven't heard of that one before either. There's questions here. Question. At the time of your experience, was there an associated life-threatening event? Answer. Yes. Clinical death. Cessation of breathing and heart functioning. I was having an asthma attack that didn't respond to breathing treatments. We called the ambulance. When they arrived, my oxygen levels were at 23%. They put me in the ambulance and had me strapped down. I struggled with the belts holding me down, tearing at them so I could try to grasp for air. The ambulance technician told me to relax. My family said I took another gasp. I then laid back and stopped breathing completely. I had respiratory arrest, then a full cardiac arrest. I was air-flighted to another hospital. Question, did you feel separated from your body? Answer, yes. I could hear people praying for me, some people I knew and some people that I did not. As more people prayed, the louder the voices were. When I came back, I was able to recant what people had said during those prayers for me. My family explained that prayer requests were going out over the internet, radio, and phone lines. Plenty of people whom I had never met were praying for me. I lost awareness of my body. Question, describing your highest level of consciousness. Answer, I felt just as alert as any other moment in my life. And when were you at your highest level of consciousness? Answer, I was aware of everything happening in the experience the whole time. I was not aware of what my earthly body was experiencing, but as my spirit traveled from my body, I was aware of that the entire time. Question, comparing your vision. Answer, prior to this experience, my vision had been blurry as though playing a video game when your character in the game is intoxicated and the screen is hazy. Comparing your hearing. Answer, my hearing was better. I have trouble hearing, but in my NDE, I could hear everything perfectly. I could hear each prayer individually and as a group, all at the same time. Question, did you pass into or through a tunnel? Answer, yes. The tunnel was a soft, vanilla pink color, misty, and slowly swirling all around me as I traveled through it. With sound files that are silver colored, I could hear the prayers of everyone as a whole, but as I touched an audio file button, I could hear the individual prayer. Question, did you encounter or become aware of any deceased or alive beings? Answer, yes, I took them to be angels. They were not anyone I knew, but they were waiting with me until I was returned. I was told that I wouldn't be staying with them at the time that I would return. Question, did you see an unearthly light? Answer, yes, the super bright white light shining through the window, and the three spirits that were with me were equally bright. Question, did you seem to enter some other unearthly world? Answer, through the waiting room window where the bright light was, that was this other world, but I knew I wasn't entering it, but it was there. Question, what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer, intense love, longing to be a part of the light and to see what lay beyond the window and to remain with the three spirits that were with me. I was also longing to bring my kids with me so that they could see it too. Question, did you come to a border or point of no return? Answer, I came to a barrier that I was not permitted to cross. Question, what importance did you place on your religious/spiritual life prior to your experience? Answer, slightly important to me. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, Christian Protestant. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, no. Question, what importance do you place on your religious/spiritual life after your experience? Answer, greatly important to me. Question, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly belief? Answer, I saw the tunnel that people talk about, but then I entered the waiting room. I could see the bright light that was shining through the window of the room, the light of the spirits with me, but I was in a waiting room. Question, did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer, yes, just deepened my beliefs in the afterlife and heavenly angels who are protective spirits in my life now. Question, did you seem to encounter a mystical being or presence or hear an unidentifiable voice? Answer, there were three spirits in this waiting room with me. They were made of brilliant, bright white light. It was the brightest light I've ever seen, but it didn't hurt my eyes to look at it. I drew a picture of them when I woke up in the ice the next day. They resembled 4 pointed stars. Nice. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about universal connection or oneness? Answer, yes, I felt this oneness. I felt the thoughts, prayers, and love from everyone. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Answer, yes. It was an awareness. It just was. It was a certainty where you just knew, okay, this is how it is. As sure as feeling a raindrop on your skin lets you know it's raining. Question, during your experience, did you gain special knowledge or information about your purpose? Question, answer, yes, just that I wasn't staying there and that I had more to accomplish in this life. I knew that I would let others know about what I saw and felt. Question, do you believe in an afterlife after your experience? Answer, an afterlife definitely exists, yes. Being there was knowing that life continued on. I wasn't dead, I was just moving on. Then I was told that I wasn't staying there at this time. Question, have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer, yes. The sense of caring from others that I felt in my experience was phenomenal. That feeling of love and caring from people I don't know is still with me. Question, was your experience difficult to express in words? Answer, no. Question, how accurately do you remember it? Answer, I remember it as accurately as other experiences. Question, do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer, yes, I had it before, but I have more ability now. I can still play the audio files at will. I have visions that I feel compelled to relay to people sometimes. Question, are there one or several parts of the experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer, all of it is just as vivid today and overwhelming at times. Question, have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer, yes. I've shared it immediately when I came back to myself. My son and boyfriend were there with me. I asked for a pen and paper so I could draw what I saw. Excuse me. I've relayed what I saw and what I've heard to others. Some people have said it reaffirms their own faith in God to hear about my experience. A non-believer that I met converted from atheist to Christianity after hearing about my experience. Question, did you have any knowledge of NDEs prior to your experience? Answer, yes. I've heard of other people talk about their experience. I had an uncle that passed over and returned. His experience was different than mine, though. Question, what do you believe about the reality of your experience shortly after it happened? Answer, it was very real. I knew immediately that it was real. It is just a sense of knowing for sure and certain. And question, what do you believe about the reality of your experience now? Answer, I've never doubted it. It would be like looking at my arm, touching it, feeling it, and seeing it. I know my arm is there. It's a part of my body. This experience, it is a sure thing. It is a knowing. Question, are there any other questions we could ask to help you communicate your experience? Answer, after your return, did you have any experience with negative spirits? End quote, end questions, and we would like to have the answer to that one, Amy. What a wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.